Krishna had left externally. Of course, internally he was still in Vrindavan. He was hiding in the bushes, watching everything that was going on, but he wasn't visible, externally visible. Externally he had manifested himself now in Dwarka. So the Brajavasis weren't seeing Krishna and they were mortified in the separation. So there was there was a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, excuse me. And all of the devotees, the Dwarkavasis and the Brajavasis came together at Kurukshetra. And so the gopis now, they're seeing Krishna, but that's not our Krishna. They're seeing Krishna, but they're not satisfied. This is not our Krishna. This is some prince. This is not our village. This is not our cowherd boyfriend. This is some prince. This is not our Krishna. We want to bring him back to Vrindavan. We don't like Krishna like this. We're not very happy to see Krishna as a Dwarka prince. We want our Gopal, our Govind, our Shamsundar, not this Dwarka prince. We want our Krishna, the way we love him. So within our hearts, the gopis, they're pulling Krishna back to Vrindavan. In our hearts, they're pulling. So this Ratha Yatra actually, externally it's the festival of singing, dancing, but internally it's the Brajavasis who are tormented in separation from the Lord. They're literally out of Vrindavan. They're absolutely worse than death. Krishna is no longer engaged in his Vrindavan pastime, so they're pulling him back, come back to Vrindavan, come back to Vrindavan. Save Radharani from her death-like state. Save Nanda Maharaj. Save Vishaka. Save the gopis. Save the cowherd boys. Save the cows. Save the deer. Save the butterflies and the peacocks and the cuckoos who are absolutely mortified. You have to save the Brajavasis from a state worse than death. Bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. And you pull the rope. You see, this is the esoteric. When you pull that rope, you should meditate. The Brajavasis are mortified in Krishna's separation. Let me bring the Brajavasis back to life by bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. This is a meditation. So Prabhupada gave a little hint of that in his lecture. And so that was my first time to see Prabhupada, physically. Of course, I met him on that day when I took him into my heart, you see. So there's two things, there's two presences of Srila Prabhupada. There's Vani and Vapu. Prabhupada told us that Vani, the vibrational presence or the teaching of the spiritual master, are more important than the Vapu, physical presence. So actually, the day I accepted into my heart, or I back in the rug, was more significant than the day I saw him at the airport. You see, it was more significant. Because when you connect with the spiritual master vibrationally, that can never be broken by anything. Never broken. What you do is you use the vapu, the external manifestation of the spiritual master, to help you strengthen your internal connection. That's what you do with the physical presence of the spiritual master. You use the physical presence to increase your determination to be connected with him vibrationally, you see, through his teachings. So, then Prabhupada was flying back down to LA for a few days of a wonderful festival down there, and we were driving, so our driver, Vijay, he put the pedal to the metal, and we sped all the way to LA. We didn't want to miss 1 minute of Prabhupada. Luckily we didn't get a ticket. I mean, he went way beyond the speed limit. It's a long drive from LA, San Francisco to LA. But we really hauled down that freeway all the way to LA to get there as soon as we could. Because Prabhupada flew to him, he drove, you see. But it was very nice in Los Angeles. Prabhupada, there was so many, Prabhupada would chant, and everyone in the ceremony, he would personally chant your beads in the ceremony. And there were so many devotees, they had to break it up. It was, there were so many devotees getting initiated, he would have to chant. He would take too long to chant all the beads, so there were 2 or 3 initiation ceremonies over 2 or 3 days. initiating many, many devotees, but you know what? I hadn't been in for 6 months. And you had to be in for 6 months. The other devotees, those two boys that joined immediately when Vishnu-Jan came, they got initiated. But me, I was like left out. Oh. And they told me, Prabhupada can leave his body at any time. And I was just like mortified. Oh my God, I gotta get initiated. Prabhupada can leave his body at any time. He was saying that, you know. I was so worried about this getting initiated. It was like, oh. I was actually crying. I wasn't getting initiated, I was crying. I was sobbing, I was not getting initiated. But then we went back to Austin, and my 6 months was up. Just like 1 month more, just a few weeks. I was only a few weeks short. So then Vishnu-Jan Swami, he was very kind. I was very puffed up character actually. I had the most cooperative, humble, surrendered brahmachari that ever hit the brahmachari ashram. I was a little rough around the edges. Vishnu-Jan Swami would say, we have to cooperate, and I would say, cooperation is a two-way street. I mean, you know, I was pretty puffed up character. And, but I was amazed. He recommended me for initiation. We got a letter came dated August 12, 1971 from London. And Prabhupada wrote in his letter, I've heard from Vishnu-Sharma Swami, it was me and two other boys, for Ashura, Ron the Bead Man, who started the hippie street market. He also got initiated, became Parashara with us. Of course, we didn't know how to pronounce it in those days. We called him Parasara. Parasara, it's Parashara, but you know, we didn't know the subtleties of the Indian language in those days. We were all new recruits. Parasara. So Ron became Ron the Bead Man. He didn't even use his last name. He called himself Ron the Bead Man. He became Parashara Das, and Palashta, and Chris Pinker became Palashta, and Steve Bridge became Sankarsana. But Prabhupada said, I've heard of Vishnu-Jan Swami that you boys are all serving very nicely at our Austin temple. And I was going, wow, Vishnu-Jan Swami is so kind, you know. Here I am, a rough character, always giving everybody a hard time. And he said, he told Prabhupada I was doing very nice service. Wow, just so I could get initiated. He was so kind to me. So it was quite amazing because at that time, Vishnu-Jan was moving on to San Antonio, so he brought somebody else in to be the temple president. Because he was supposed to open 10 temples. And he brought a boy named Ishan Prabhu and his wife Bhavati. They had been in London staying at John Lennon's estate when Prabhupada was there. So they were used to cultivating big people. They had this idea, we can cultivate John Lennon and George Harrison, we can cultivate anybody. So he came to Austin. He decided to cultivate the city council. And he invited to the initiation ceremony the mayor of Austin. And the mayor came. The mayor of Austin came to the initiation ceremony. We had it out in the front yard of the temple. It was in a residential neighborhood. And the neighbors didn't like all the kirtan, so the mayor came and they were complaining to the mayor, and they called the police on this. They didn't like the initiation ceremony, so they called the police. And there was the mayor attending the function, so you know. The police had to just go on their way. The mayor is attending the function. Not very protected from the police breaking up our initiation ceremony. It was a perfect arrangement. My father came and he was really impressed. He's sitting there shouting on the mayor of Austin. You know, my father was really impressed. Oh, my son's getting initiated. The mayor has come. It was great for my parents. The mayor of Austin was there attending my initiation ceremony. So anyway, usually, you know, you have initiated. You always give dakshina when you get initiated. You see, when you get initiated, you collect dakshina from all the people at the yajna, and then you turn that into the spiritual master. But Prabhupada wasn't there, so now I had a great opportunity that I get to send a letter to Prabhupada. I had 3 checks in a letter, and I forwarded the checks to Prabhupada. And I got to write Prabhupada a letter. Wow! I get to actually write Prabhupada some words along with the checks. And I told Prabhupada, being inspired by Vishnu Jan Maharaj, that I wanted to spread this movement. And Prabhupada wrote me back the most wonderful letter. I sent him a picture actually of Vishnu Jan Swami giving the mayor of Austin. It's simply wonderful. And what really amazed me was, because I was always getting the blessings of Prabhupada through Vishnu Jan Maharaj, you see. But Prabhupada wrote in this letter, he said, please give my blessings to Vishnu Jan Maharaj. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I'm giving Prabhupada's blessings to Vishnu Jan Swami. Wow, it's amazing. Prabhupada told me to do it, so I did. I said, Prabhupada's giving you his blessings. He told me to give you his blessings. So that was really amazing. And then Prabhupada very kindly said, I can see that you're a very sincere, enthusiastic boy, eager for spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. He said, now continue, these words have stuck with me very strongly for all these, what years, 1914? 2014. What is it, 44 years, 71, 43 years now. These words have stuck with me for 43 years. He told me, continue enthusiastically as you are doing, and surely Krishna will bless you. When Prabhupada says something, it comes true. That's the power of Srila Prabhupada. When he says something, it will come true. It's not just some flowery words in the sky. So Prabhupada ordered me, and I just kind of been through a lot in the last, since I joined in 71, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly. We've seen it all, but Prabhupada's instructions were always there. Continue enthusiastically, and surely Krishna will bless you. So I've tried to always serve that order of Srila Prabhupada and never lose my enthusiasm no matter what happens. And because of the divine potency of Srila Prabhupada, the blessings keep showering down of the mercy of Krishna. So, we have 10 minutes left. There's so many more things I could say, but time and tide wait for no man. Anybody have any questions? Maybe we can answer one or two questions. Yeah?
So you said Jivan Mukta, can you explain one more time?
Someone...
Jivan Mukta.
Jivan Mukta, can you explain?
Jivan Mukta, can you please explain that to me?
Yes. Karmana manasa geda nikadas karmana si ihe yashare dasye karmana manasa geda nikadas vastasu jivan mukta so uchite. This is described by Rupa Goswami Prabhupada in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-187 is the verse number. He says that if one engages body, mind, and words in the service of Krishna, he becomes a liberated soul even in all conditions of this material existence. So if you will actually surrender to a bona fide spiritual master coming in civic succession from Krishna, not a charlatan guru, but a bona fide spiritual master who is actually purely teaching the message of Krishna, you don't have to wait for death to become mukta. You become mukta even in your very body right now, you see. So Jivan Mukta means a liberated living being. And you don't require to die to become liberated. You just have to find a bona fide spiritual master who's purely teaching Bhagavad Gita as it is. And if you will follow his instructions without deviation, with full sincerity and attitude, fully surrender yourself to him, from that very moment, when you commit your heart to that spiritual master, from that instant you become Jiva Mukta. Instantly. Instant liberation. Any other questions? Yeah.
Prabhu, could you mention what does instant liberation means in this regard?
It means you're no longer acting under the influence of the modes of nature. Now you're acting under the order of Krishna. You're now within the spiritual energy instead of the material energy. Even if there's still some residual influence of material energy, it's predominated over by the spiritual energy. So you're still considered liberated, even though you may still be dealing with the modes of nature, cleaning them out of your heart. It's like a ripened mango and a green mango. You have, the mango is liberation. Okay? Now in the beginning, as a neophyte devotee, you're a green mango, not ripened mango. But that's still considered liberation, Prabhupada. You're immediately liberated as soon as you fully surrender yourself to bona fide spiritual master. You're immediately liberated. And he told us in a lecture in Los Angeles, he said from the very day of initiation, you achieve deathlessness. From that very moment, that very day of initiation, you achieve deathlessness, immortality. Because now you're acting in your eternal identity as Krishna's servant. You're no longer acting as someone who's trying to enjoy this material world. It doesn't mean to say that you're a Paramahamsa necessarily. You're completely, you achieve prema. You may be in the level of bhajana kriya, you see. But still, even though you're a bhajana, you may be on the level of, as an initiated devotee, one is on the level of bhajana kriya, trying to get to narpana vritti. But still he's considered liberated. So. According to Srila Prabhupada's teaching. But you have to maintain that liberation by not deviating. If you deviate from the instruction, again, you become entangled. But if you faithfully serve the order of your spiritual master, to chant 16 rounds and follow these four-legged principles, from the very day, accepting him, even informally within your heart, as your authority, and now I'll do whatever he says. Even the Prabhupada said that's called practical initiation. Even from the day when you fully accept the spiritual master's orders, your life and soul, your liberation actually begins at that moment. So, I'm going to stop here.
I have one thing.
You do? What is it?
You mentioned that your search for self-realization began when Srila Prabhupada he came to America.
Same time.
So I was just wondering, it seems like Krishna he sparks from within the heart some sincerity.
There has to be some connection between Prabhupada's arrival and the same exact time my whole consciousness changed. There was some kind of connection. I don't know, I can't authoritatively say exactly why that happened, but it did happen, and that's it then. Prabhupada showed up just in America, just the same time I was questioning what is the purpose of my existence. So we'll stop here. We thank you all very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai! His Great Sankarsana ki
Jai!
Jai.